Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jasura Nandana Bhajanana Ranjana. Jasura Nandana Bhajanana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gora Bhaktavinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gora Bhaktavinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivadikacharya Statara Sitati Srimad His Divine Grace of Ayat Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivadikacharya Statara Sitati Srimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Gaudiya Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. Nittai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the Samadhivotis. All glories to the Samadhivotis. All glories to the Samadhivotis. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Guru Gaura. Krishna Swadhamma Bhagati Dhamma Jnana Dibisaha Kalo Nashta Dvisham Esha Puranako Dunoditaha. This Bhagavat Purana is brilliant as the sun. It has arisen after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by knowledge, religion, etc. Persons who have lost their vision to the dense darkness of ignorance in this age of Kali shall get light from this Purana. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Canto 2, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chapter 8, text number 16. This is the chapter entitled Questions by King Parikshit. Please repeat after me. Pramanam Anda Koshasya Babhya Vaya Vyantaraha Vedata Mahatam Shanucharitam Vanashrama Vinischaya Pramanamanakoshasya Vayabhyantara Vedata Mahatam Shanucharitam Vanashrama Vinischaya Pramanam Andakoshasya Vaya Bhyantaraha Vedata Mahatam Shanucharitam Vanashrama Vinischaya. Paranam. Extent and measurement. Sorry. Andakoshaya. Of the universe. Bhaya. Outer space. Abhyantara. Inner space. Vedata. By division of. Mahatam. Of the great souls. Cha. Also. Anucharitam. Character and activities. Vana. Castes. Ashrama. Orders of life. Vinischaya. Specifically describe. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Also, please describe the inner and outer space of the universe by specific divisions, as well as the character and activities of the great souls, and also the characteristics of the different classifications of the castes and orders of life. Please repeat after me.
Also, please describe the inner and outer space of the universe by specific divisions, as well as the character and activities of the great souls, and also the characteristics of the different classifications of the castes and orders of life.
There's no speaker outside, so perhaps if you could speak as loudly as you can so people outside can hear.
Okay, is the mic? You tell me when it's too loud, so I'm a bit shy, so. Is that better? Okay, purport. Maharaj Pariksit is a typical devotee of Lord Krishna, and as such, he is anxious to know the complete significance of the creation of the Lord. He wants to know the inner and outer space of the universal form. It is quite fitting for the real searcher of knowledge to know all about this. Those who are of the opinion that the devotees of the Lord are satisfied with mere sentiments can find in the inquiries of Maharaj Pariksit good lessons as to how inquisitive a pure devotee is to know things in their true perfection. The modern scientist is unable to know about the inner space of the universal horizon, and what to speak of the space which covers the universe. Maharaj Pariksit is not satisfied with only material knowledge. He is inquisitive about the character and activities of the great souls, the devotees of the Lord. The glories of the Lord and the glories of his devotees combined together comprise the complete knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Krishna showed his mother the complete universal creation within his mouth, while she, completely charmed by her son, wanted to look inside the mouth of the Lord just to see how much earth the child had eaten. By the grace of the Lord, the devotees are able to see everything in the universe within the mouth of the Lord. The very idea of the scientific divisions of 4 classes of human society and 4 orders of life is also inquired about herewith on the basis of individual personal quality. The 4 divisions are exactly like the 4 divisions of one's personal body. The parts and parcels of the body are not different from the body, but by themselves they are only parts. That is the significance of the whole scientific system of 4 castes and 4 social orders. The value of such scientific divisions of human society can be ascertained only in terms of the proportionate development of devotional service to the Lord. Any person employed in government service, including the President, is a part and parcel of the entire government. Everyone is a government servant, but no one is the government himself. That is the position of all living entities in the government of the Supreme Lord. No one can artificially claim the supreme position of the Lord, but everyone is meant to serve the purpose of the Supreme Whole. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Just read that translation again. Also, please describe the inner and outer space of the universe by specific divisions, as well as the character and activities of the great souls, and also the characteristics of the different classifications of the castes and orders of social life. So, I was listening to Prabhupada recently. He was explaining that knowledge is power. When we have knowledge and we apply our intelligence with that knowledge, we can make the right choices in life. So here we have Maharaj Pariksit, who's had a very, very challenging time in life. He's approaching his death, and he requires that superior knowledge in order to focus and make his life successful. So that requires superior guidance. So he is receiving that guidance from Sukadeva Goswami. He's the pure-hearted, transparent via medium to receive that transcendental knowledge that he requires. This is a regular feature actually through the Bhagavatam of these self-realized souls imparting knowledge and providing the most valuable information of how one can perfect his life and ultimately get out of this world. There's no other way to escape, actually, unless we get that superior knowledge. We have a similar situation with Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He also was perplexed at what to do. So he had to submit to Lord Krishna and receive that superior knowledge so that he could act appropriately. And after speaking many hundreds of verses, Lord Krishna asked Arjuna, is your ignorance now dispelled? Have you got clear vision? And Arjuna admitted that yes, by your mercy, I am now clear in my conscience and I can see what I need to do. So similarly, Parikshit Maharaj now is getting clear instructions. To all those questions which he asked, those first two questions he asked in Bhagavatam was, what is the duty of one who is about to die? And what is the duty of all persons in all times and places and circumstances? And Srila Prabhupada says that the whole of the Bhagavatam in Canto 2 through to chapter 12 expands on these initial two questions. What is the duty of one who is about to die? And what is the duty of all persons in all circumstances? So it is a great science, and to learn that science is the duty in the human form of life. The human form of life is a very special opportunity. It's only in this body, in this human body, that you have the intelligence to understand truth. You look at all the other species, they have no capacity for any self-inquiry. That's fairly obvious. And Srila Prabhupada also mentions that this questions and answering is going on in all species of life at every moment. Here we're living on the farm, and every morning as the sun rises, what do we hear? We hear all the birds coming to life, and they're busy with questions and answers. But those questions and answers are usually about where is something to eat, where is something for our shelter, and where is our enemy. And Srila Prabhupada also mentions the ability of the animals to survive is an indication of their intelligence. Every living entity, every creature has some form of intelligence. Otherwise they can't function. They have to make choices. Whether it's a bee or an ant or an elephant or an eagle, all those living entities, they're all utilising their intelligence to survive in this world. So that special feature of the human form of life is that we can ask, who am I? I think that's the question that we've all asked at some stage, isn't it? Who am I? Then we also ask, what is this world? Who are all these other people? And what is the purpose of this world? This universe that we're in is very expansive. And it's a little bewildering to contemplate it sometimes. It's so vast. Yet this universe is only one universe in the vast material sky. And then beyond this material sky there is the spiritual sky, which is unlimited. Parikshit Maharaj was asking about the planets. I remember as a young man contemplating these things, and it was just all too fantastic to actually try and understand what it all means. And that it just goes on forever. Oh, I thought it went on forever, but as we hear from Bhagavatam, this particular universe is like an egg with so many layers covering that egg. And then outside the universe, there are billions of other universes. Billions. And then that's only the material world. And then beyond this material world we have the spiritual sky. And that's unlimited. It has no end. I also used to think of these things previously, and how you cannot understand that. How can you get your head around something that just goes on forever? But then again, it cannot stop at the same time. You can't come to an end, because if you come to an end, what's on the other side of the end? So, this is Krishna's fantastic creation. And Maharaj was asking these questions to try and understand the nature of this world. And of course, as we go forward, Sukadeva Swami will answer these questions. He's also asking here about the character and activities of the great souls, and also the characteristics of the different classifications of the castes and orders of life. So I'll read a little bit later about Varnashrama, which is a very expansive subject. It's been chewed over through the years by many people. Srila Prabhupada also mentioned before he left the planet, he said, I want to establish Varnashrama. But we've found since that this is quite a challenging thing to do. I think when the need arises, Varnashrama will become possible. It will manifest. But we see, Varnashrama it's Krishna's creation of those four classes of men, so that you can have a properly functioning society. And without Varnashram, you cannot really have a proper civilized society. And the first requirement is that you have to have a very intelligent class of men, which are the Brahmins, to provide the spiritual and material knowledge to make sense of the world and act appropriately in this world. Now in modern society, we are lacking that. We have some leadership, but there is no, deep spiritual leadership, which is the great necessity of mankind. So I wanted to read a few things in relation to knowledge from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna confirms the value of knowledge. As I explained previously, we require knowledge to be able to act appropriately, and we have to engage the intelligence to act upon that knowledge. So this is Bhagavad Gita chapter 4. It follows the verse Tadvini Pranipatena Pariprasnena Sevaya Ipudekshanti Te Yana Gainas Tattva Darshana. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. So Krishna goes on further to say, having obtained real knowledge from the self-realized soul, you will never fall again into such illusion. For by this knowledge you will see that all living beings are but part of the Supreme, or in other words, that they are mine. Even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all sinners,
When you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. As a blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reactions to material activities. And this is a wonderful verse, this one. In this world there is nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Such knowledge is the mature fruit of all mysticism, and one who has become accomplished in the practice of devotional service enjoys his knowledge within himself in due course of time. A faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge, and having achieved it, he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. But ignorant and real scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. One who acts in devotional service, renouncing the fruits of his actions, and whose doubts have been destroyed by transcendental knowledge, is situated factually in the self. Thus he is not bound by the reactions of word, of conqueror of riches. So Srila Prabhupada tells a little fable about the value of knowledge and intelligence. He tells the story of the lion who was killed by a rabbit. So anyway, one day, how does this happen that a lion is killed by a rabbit? And of course we know in fables that they're fantastic stories and anything can happen in a fable. But anyway, so Prabhupada told this story on a number of occasions. There are a group of rabbits and they were being harassed by this lion. Who wanted to eat them all, of course. And the rabbits were constantly in anxiety, never knowing when their end would be. So they had a meeting and they made a decision that one of them would go each day and surrender to the lion and be eaten. So they gave him some sort of sense of security, at least for some time. So the lion accepted their proposal. So each day a rabbit would go, and the lion, of course, would just be lying on the ground. He'd open his mouth and the rabbit would jump in, and that was the end of the rabbit. So there was one particular rabbit who was very intelligent. So on the day that it was his turn to go to the lion and be eaten, he thought, I may as well enjoy myself on the way. So he went on a bit of a tour, a bit of a detour. Understanding this was it now, it's all over. So when he got to the lion was very angry. And he asked him, why are you late? And so the rabbit explained, actually on the way he met another lion who was very insistent to eat me. But the rabbit had to tell him, well, I'm sorry, you cannot eat me, I'm destined to be eaten by this other lion. So he managed to get away from that lion. So then the lion asked, where is this other lion? Show him to me. And he wanted to challenge this other lion. So the rabbit said, okay, I'll show you where he is. So he took him to the well and he pointed into the water and said, he's down there. Right? So the lion's looking down there and he sees the vision of this big lion. So he roars at this other lion. And of course, when you roar into a well, the sound just comes straight back at you. So immediately he jumped into the well, to devour this other lion. And Prabhupada said, and then he was finished, gone. So this was Prabhupada's illustration of the power we're making decisions all the time about how to conduct our lives. And we have to develop the ability to always defer to Krishna, to defer to Krishna's pure representative, so that we can make the right choices. We know that life is very perplexing. There are decisions to make every day. By remembering those instructions of Lord Krishna, we can be consolidated in our devotional life. Prabhupada said you have to have faith in the words of Krishna. You hear from Krishna, hear from Krishna's pure representative, and have faith in those words that if you follow, you'll get the right result eventually. So we observe that faith is a constant in the living being. It's not something variable. You always have faith. Even for materialists, as well as for the bhaktas, we always have faith in something. So we place our faith in Krishna. It's not that there's a position where there's no faith. So faith is a very important ingredient in the process of bhakti yoga. You have to have the faith that if you follow all those rules and regulations, which are meant to help you make progress, you have to have the faith that yes, I will be successful if I just stick to the path. I remember reading something many years ago that a saying amongst materialistic people. They say that a quitter never wins and a winner never quits. So you have to stick carefully to the path of bhakti as given us by Srila Prabhupada, and try not to waver in that determination to be successful. Okay, another thing I wanted to quote was from in this question and answering process. I'll just quote a couple more verses from Bhagavatam. Sukadeva Goswami says, "My dear King, your question is glorious because it is very beneficial to all kinds of people. The answer to this question is the prime subject matter for hearing, and it is approved by all transcendentalists." So I mentioned those two questions earlier that Parikshit Maharaj had asked of Sukadeva Goswami. It's also mentioned, there's another verse in the earlier in the Bhagavatam, Munaya Vasara Prishtaram Bhagavir Yogamama Yoga Mangala Yakrita Krishna Sampasno Yinama Supasiviti. That's correct? Munaya Vasara Prishtaram Bhagavir Yogamama. Yasudha Goswami says that your questions are glorious because they relate to the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna and therefore are beneficial for everybody. Okay, just referring now to some other things in this purport by Srila Prabhupada. So now we get to Varnashram. So I just wanted to read something from Chaitanya Charitamrita. As I explained, Varnashram is a very exhaustive topic. And many things have been written over the years about this subject matter. And I'll read. This is Ramananda Roy. He's with Lord Chaitanya. And in this instance, Lord Chaitanya, he's asking the questions, and Ramananda Roy is replying. This is Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila Chapter 8, and it's text number 56. Ramananda Roy approached Sri Chaitanya, Lord Sri Chaitanya, and offered his respectful obeisances, and the Lord embraced him. Then they both began to discuss Krishna in a secluded place. So I think I've got the wrong. My apologies, it's text number 57. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered Ramananda Roy to recite a verse from the revealed scriptures concerning the ultimate goal of life. Ramananda replied that if one execute the prescribed duties of his social position, he awakens his original Krishna consciousness. Purport: in this connection, Srila Ramanujacharya stated in the Vedanta Sangraha that devotional service is naturally very dear to the living entity. Indeed, it is life's goal. This devotional service is supreme knowledge or Krishna consciousness, and it brings detachment from all material activity. In the transcendental position, the living being can perfectly acknowledge the superiority of serving the Supreme Lord. The devotees attain the Supreme Lord only by devotional service. Having such knowledge, one engages in his occupational duty, and that is called Bhakti Yoga. By performing Bhakti Yoga, one can rise to the platform of pure devotional service. A great saint, the father of Srila Vyasadeva, Parasura Muni, has specifically mentioned that devotional service to the Lord can ultimately be awakened in human society by the discharge of duties in accordance with the Varnashrama. The Supreme Personality of Godhead instituted Varnashram Dharma to give human beings a chance to return home back to Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, who is known in Bhagavad Gita as Purushottam, the greatest of all personalities, personally declared that the institution of Varnashram Dharma was founded by him. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvanya Maya Shrishta Guna Karma Vibhagasa Tasya Kantaram Api Imam Vidya Kartaram Avyayam. Elsewhere in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Sve Sve Karma Yabhirata Sam Siddhim Labate Nara Sakama Nirata Siddhim Yata Vindati Tachtrinu Yata Pavrita Bhutanam Yena Savam Idam Tatam Sakamanatam Abhyachcha Siddhim Vindati Manava. Human society should be divided into 4 divisions: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Sudra, and everyone should always engage in his occupational duty. The Lord says that those engaged in their occupational duty can attain perfection simply by rendering loving devotional service to the Lord while executing their particular duty. So this is a very important sentence, this one, because it gives full meaning to Varnashram for us. The Lord says that those engaged in their occupational duty can attain perfection simply by rendering devotional service to the Lord while executing their particular duty. Actually, the modern ideal of a class society can be introduced only by Krishna consciousness. Let men perform their occupational duty and let them give their profits to the service of the Lord. In other words, one can attain the perfection of life by discharging one's occupational duty and employing the results in the service of the Lord. This method is confirmed by great personalities like Bodhayana, Tanka, Dramita, Guhadev, Kapardi and Baruchi. It is also confirmed by Vedanta Sutra. Just want to tell one little story about intelligence. and knowledge. Some labourers, they went to their king and they complained about a minister who they thought was very lazy. He just sits at his desk all day. You know, we were working hard and this fellow's just sitting there earning so much. So the king said, okay, I would advise a test, and whoever passes this test, he can become the next minister. So the challenge he gave them was, I want you to weigh this elephant. So the labourers were bewildered by that. They were thinking, how do you get a scale to weigh an elephant? How do you put him on that scale? So they gave up. They couldn't figure it out. So then the king asked the minister, will you please weigh the elephant? And so the minister said, yeah, no problem. Just give me a little time, I'll be back shortly. So he came back and he gave the exact weight of the elephant. And the labourers are thinking, what? How did he do that, you know? He waited a short time. So then the minister explained that he took the elephant to the river and put him in a boat. So when the elephant got the elephant in the boat, he marked the side of the boat where the water went to. And then the elephant got the elephant out. And then he loaded some bags of grain, and he knew the weight of each bag of grain. So by filling that boat up with all those bags of grain, then he knew, this is how much the elephant weighs. So then he went back to the king and reported the weight of the elephant, and all the labourers were completely astonished. And then the king said, you can keep your job. So we've got a few minutes. I'll try and answer some questions if you have them, or you want to make a comment on any of those matters. Okay.
Wait a second.
We do have a microphone today.
Knowledge is power, and you also hear that a little bit of knowledge in the wrong hands can be very dangerous. So how do you see the two?
A little bit of knowledge. Well, for us it always means sticking to the authority. The nature of this world is that we make mistakes, we forget good advice, and we make wrong choices. But that's what we say, part of the course. You're going to, just like we see with young children, when they're learning to walk especially, the young mothers know about this, they're always falling on their face, falling on their back. And a child goes through many stages of life, and they're always challenged, and they're suffering in different ways, until they learn to make the right choices. Srila Prabhupada also confirmed that failure is the pillar of success. So is this answering your question? Just say that question again.
We hear that knowledge is power, and we also hear that a little bit of knowledge in the wrong hands can be dangerous. So, adults, how do you...
That question by itself is self-explanatory. If you don't have full knowledge, you will make wrong choices. and there'll be consequences. It's like we've decided to be in this material world. We were not forced to come here. This is our choice. Even though supposedly we had full knowledge as spiritual beings. But we're driven by our desires to make wrong choices. And Srila Prabhupada mentioned the first, so we've come to this material world which is actually a prison. Right? It's a place for reform, for making the wrong choice. And he says the first criminal activity is that you want to be the enjoyer, which is unnatural for us. We are actually, Krishna is the Purish and we are the Prakriti. He is the enjoyer, we are enjoyed. So we've made that wrong choice, even though we had all good intention or good facility. But having a little knowledge of the subject matter can lead us into trouble. As I said, make wrong choices. I'm just trying to think of an example. You think of one, Kaka? A little knowledge, maybe you can give me an example. Just like sometimes people will do something, they have good intention, but they actually don't know how to manage something. And you get all sorts of problems come from that, because they have a little knowledge. And they think they can apply that knowledge. Shrinking?
Brahmana's boy.
Is that a good example? Yeah. You want to share that with us?
When Maharaj Parikshit was that Thursday, he just went to the ashram of, I don't know, stage, and he was so thirsty, so he put a gas snake around his neck. And the son of that sage, Shringi, he Brahmana gave knowledge, but he made a wrong choice to curse a king who's taking care of all the universe, whole earth. He has knowledge, but he was not humble enough.
Didn't know how to apply that knowledge. Or didn't have full knowledge.
Thank you for elaborating on that. When you mentioned that, it reminded me when my Guru Maharaj, he gave one example that there was a boy who was very sick and he had some liver disease, and his brother knew that he liked pakoras, fried things, and liver condition is not good. So he thought, oh, let me help my poor brother. I know he loves pakoras, and gave him, and when the parents came home, they said, your knowledge is not full, you don't know that. Giving him will make him worse.
Sure.
So that's something.
Yes, that's really good. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? All right. All glory to Srila Prabhupada.